Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's August 5th, and prices of BTC are currently at 11,660. And if you were part of our Cryptosomniac Advantage program, you would have caught the LTC pop almost perfectly overnight when we announced it. We actually announced it right around $94 or $95 right here. So this was a nice big pop, and we just took some profit early this morning. Again, none of this is financial advice, so we try to do the best we can to provide information to our community members, and they make the decision. And clearly, we gave them good information to make a good decision. So, kudos to our community members who just made a quick and easy 10% overnight. All right. Now, with BTC going and moving up all the way from the 9,100 bottom that was put in all the way to about 11,600, where are we, and what is the ceiling of this run? Okay, so let me discuss that a little bit. All right, so first let me go back and explain to you something that I have been explaining to everyone over the past maybe month or so. All right, I explained to folks that this was a big regular flat correction right over here. Okay, this was your regular flat. If you don't know what a regular flat is, here it is. Okay, I'm going to show you via images from Google. Okay, so basically this is your regular flat. It looks like a big bull flag between this line and this line, and your A wave has typically 3 down, your B has 3 up, and your C has 5 down. So check this out. All right, here's your A wave right there, has 3 down, as you can see in the blue. Your B has 3 up in the yellow. Your C, which is right there, your C has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down. Okay, so typically after this, what we expect to see is a movement like 1, 2, a big 3 wave, pull back on a 4, and a 5. Okay, so what we're experiencing right now is probably we're in the middle of a 3 wave. Okay, and the 4th wave will probably come down. I'm not quite sure exactly where it'll go, but it can't go lower than this wave 1 right here, right? So it probably has to go at the very least maybe 11,000, I don't know, 200 at most, okay? 11,350 or so. That could be a good marker too. And then the 5th wave is that big pop typically, right? Which would maybe take us to anywhere between 14,000 and 17,000. I'll mark those out in a little bit. All right, but for now, what we're really seeing is we're approaching resistance here, okay, which is the resistance of this descending trend line from this marker touch to this touch, right? So the beginning of the A to the B, and now we're potentially getting that 3rd touch right there. All right, so typically what you see in flags is, a big up and down movement like this, and then you get to that next resistance point, which is, again, the descending trend line of the flag, pull back a little bit, and then pop. Okay, which surprisingly enough in this wave structure creates a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'll be taking some profits off the table right around here because we don't really know if that 4th wave is just going to collapse through. I mean, I highly doubt it. I think this is a very clean looking zigzag of a 5-wave structure. So I'd say that wave 3 is going to hold off right here, right around 11.7, 11.9 at most, and then pull back for a wave 4, and then a wave 5 will be a nice pop. Okay, so this is going to get really interesting for a wave 4 and then a wave 5, because the wave 5, in my opinion, can stretch a bit deeper. Okay, so let me first show you guys. So at the very least, all right, I'd say the wave 5 can get to about 13,000. All right, at the it could also get to about 13,900 at the very least again, right? Because that's the highs over here that were put in June 26th and about July 9th or 10th. Okay, now if we start extending that out, all right, if we start extending this out, this is how our targets start coming up. Let me pull up a different chart. Okay, Here's a Bitstamp chart on the weekly. Here it is. All right. On the weekly, we could see on Bitstamp, right, we're trying to close above this $11,600 area, right, which was previous resistance. You could see all of these candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we all closed under this 11,600 marker. All right. And it could be very possible that through this week, we finish with a wick deep into this area, right? Finish our 5-wave structure, which I just showed you earlier, leading off into maybe 12 or 13,000, maybe 14,000, but then finish this candle with a wick under 11.5 or 11.6 like this did. Okay, it's very possible to do that. That's why it's important to take profits, okay, because you don't know if you're going to get left behind with this weekly candle with this wick all the way up here in 13.9, right? And then the candle closes all the way into about 10,900 or so, right? So understanding when to take profits, why to take profits is one of the key tenets of being a successful trader, all right? So with that being said, the height of, if this keeps on moving, like I said earlier, could be 13,000, 13,900, and then we can start talking about this 19,000 top, okay? Or wherever these candles closed basically would be the next big resistance, all right? I guess this could be an area too, which is about 16,000 or so. So if we just started laying down markers, all right? So here are the next big markers. Here's the white marker right there. And then I'm gonna make this one white as well. All right, so the next targets, if we keep on moving up, other than 13,000, 13,800, then it's about 16,000 and then 18,900. Once we break up above 18,900, maybe 19,000, it's all fair game, guys. Everything, it's just open ceiling all the way up. Okay, there's really no resistance in the way left, right? Then it's just, all of this is just price discovery. Price discovery just means anything could happen. I mean, we could go to 30,000 literally in 2 weeks, so, So really getting past these hurdles of the next couple of blocks that we have, which is, 13,000, 13.2, 16, and then 18.9. Those are the big challenges left in our way. We've crossed a lot of barriers, from this 3,100 bottom and now this top, and we've traded this entire way up, guys. If you've been part of the Cryptosomniac community, don't think that we just got involved in the market just now. Okay, we basically sold this top right here. We've bought a couple times, we've shorted in here a couple times, bought and sold in these in this chop right here, the last 4 or 5 weeks. All right, now everyone can always, in retrospect say, well, wouldn't it have been great to just buy this bottom and sell this top, right? And guys, that is just foolish. Okay, anyone who could do that, I mean, they're a genius. I don't know any person in the market who could time bottoms and time tops. Okay, I know people who could, very successfully buy the middle of a range and sell the middle of a range. So I know traders who have bought, the breakout of this candle right here, and who bought 5,000, and then they sold somewhere around here, which was 10,000. So that's 2x, right? We have done successfully as well in our community, close to that 2x, maybe even a little bit better. Okay, especially when we trade up and down, especially when we short, especially when we use leverage, when we use options, when we use different instruments. Okay, our community is not just about buying and hodling, because we don't think that hodling is a strategy. It's not an investment strategy. Okay, if you really want to be a successful trader, you have to understand how to be patient in the market. You have to understand how to follow the technicals and be able to understand that it's not about selling the price, it's about selling the value of the technicals. Okay, so let me give you a good example of that. All right, so here we have a ascending parallel channel right here. All right, now you go look at this one way. Okay, what I saw right here yesterday was we broke out the channel, we reclaimed the channel. All right, we got into this area right here because it was flagging sideways. I didn't care that I missed buying this bottom or even this bottom, okay? Because I actually bought some of the bottoms and I traded some of them, maybe, you know, % or 2 here and there. But I had no idea that if this is going to keep on going up, because there were so many different resistance levels in the way. The safest spot to have gotten in was the closing of yesterday's daily and weekly candle, which closed actually right here. Okay, so when this closed right here, I said, okay, well, we closed above a big resistance level, right? So this candle right here, as you can see, it closed all the way into about 11,000. We got in around 10,950 or maybe 11,000 flat. All right, and now we're up, a good 6-7% on BTC already. Okay, so we watched this weekly close, we watched the daily close right there, as you can see, and what I was waiting for this daily to do is close above these two candles right here, which were previous resistance, which was about, again, 10,800 or so, as you can see. Okay, so you can see that waiting above a critical swing high right here, this is the previous swing high, waiting above it is a technically sound strategy. It's a tactical strategy to know that you're not gambling buying the resistance. Okay, whether you bought here or here or here, right, these are all potentials that price could keep going down. But when you buy above this, okay, you know for sure that you have basically bought the break of the resistance, the breakout of the resistance. Okay, so you understand now why understanding the technicals and trading the technicals is so important rather than trading the price. Okay, I promise you that if you start trading the technicals on the value of what they are rather than looking at the price, you will be immensely successful in this game. All right, so what we're doing right now is approaching this resistance right here. Okay, resistance from this wick and this wick, this downtrend trend line right here that you're seeing right now. So this is where I'm starting to take profit a little bit right around this area. I'll wait for a pullback potentially maybe around, I don't know, it could be as high as 11,300 or 400, but I do expect a bit of a retrace, and then we potentially keep on moving up. Okay. All right. So with that being said, going back to the conversation about the value of the technicals, right? You can see that buying here was a better opportunity because not only was this flagging, meaning a bull flag, which is a positive bullish sign on the 1 hour or even the 4 hour, we were approaching that daily and weekly close that I just explained to you, right? This was the daily close and then the weekly right there. Okay, so this was a perfectly timed opportunity for me to get in right here in this area and then just ride this thing up and close out my position up here. All right, and now I can just wait for a retrace. If it happens, great, right? If it doesn't happen, that's also fine too. I'm not saying that this big retrace has to happen. All right, so if we're looking at this, let's look at it right here. Okay, if we're looking at this area right here, there is no guarantee that this can't just blow through like this. Okay, I have no idea, but the odds are in my favor, right? Because this trend line is being created from this touch and this touch right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just face a little bit of resistance right here, and then I can just reload up, whether it's 11.4, 11.3, and then ride it for that fifth wave, right? On the 4 hour as well, another reason I'm starting to be a bit more cautious is because we are in the overbought territory on the RSI right here. You can see we're approaching about 83, 84 points. I would say the height of the RSI over the last month or so has been about anywhere between 86 points and about 92. So I'm starting to be a little bit more cautious. If we just lay down, something like this, this is really our big resistance block for the 4 hour RSI. So we have a bit of room to go, right? So once we hit that, we can pull back a little bit again, like we did here, right? So in this area, we had a bit of a chop, sideways bull flagging, and then took off again. It's very possible we could do that because the daily chart has a lot more room. Okay, you can see right here. Let me see if I can pull up the daily right here on this chart. You see the daily chart has a lot of room to go. The daily tops, you know, anywhere between 89 and 90 points. And so that, I mean, we're currently at 64 points. So we have a lot of room to go. But typically when the 4 hour starts getting into the overbought territory, we do see a bit of a pullback. So I'm expecting, you know, like I said, that fourth wave pullback a little bit, and then that fifth wave pop. All right. Okay. Again, if you don't understand these things, folks, go to cryptosomniac.com. Okay. And then hit the products page right there. And then you can buy my technical analysis course, learn with me. And if you do buy this, you can get 1 free week in the Advantage program. So if you just come in here, message me right here and tell me that you bought this program with a screenshot of your verification of the purchase, I'll give you 1 free week access. Or you could just buy the Advantage program straight up. Come hang out with us for the next month, and we'll be making some good gains in the next coming month. That I'm very positive of. Okay, so with that being said, where are we now, right? Where else are we right now? Okay, so let's take a look out on this chart again. Excuse me. So another thing that we can do, okay, if you can see these red circles on your screen right now on YouTube, you see this is 1 touch right here, 2 touches right there, 3, 4th touch, 5th touch became resistance, which is this red circle, and then 6th touch right here became support on this white dash trend line that you see. Okay, so these are called diagonals in technicals. Okay, trading diagonals is being able to identify trend lines or parallel channels or flags, and then being able to trade within the confines of those. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing right now, is trading a diagonal over here by selling resistance. Okay, so by selling resistance right here with this touch and now approaching the 3rd touch, we're saying that we believe this diagonal is intact, and at the very least it will hold down price for a little bit, or worst case scenario, well, I guess worst and best case scenario is that price just blows past it, and great, then you don't have to worry about this resistance. Okay, more than likely though, the odds are in your favor that this touch and this touch has validated this trend line right here, and at the very least we're going to approach that trend line with caution, maybe pull back a little bit, and then pull back for our wave 4 and then pop, right? And you can actually see right now that as the price is approaching that resistance level, the diagonal, you can see the candle spread getting smaller, right? After this big candle, you can see the follow-up candle has a big wick to the upside, meaning that there's sellers just waiting in that area. This next candle, which is closing in 23 minutes, if it closes as is more of like, I don't know, maybe a spinning top, maybe a doji of some sort. But again, candle spread is smaller. And what I mean by saying candle spread is smaller, meaning look at the size and the body of the candle. Okay, this is a large candle spread, meaning this is a big bodied candle. You know, it looks incredibly strong, comes in with high volume, right? The next one approaches with less volume, but because there's a wick to the upside, that means most of this volume right here was caught by sellers. This volume bar right here is even smaller. Okay, so you can see the volume is, as it approaches resistance, like I said, which is that descending trend line right here, it's getting smaller. Prices are getting, you know, slower and slower in terms of approaching this level. So I would expect prices to move on up, slow down, pull back, and then pop. All right, so that's kind of what I'm hoping on and waiting for that 4th wave. Okay, let's see. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, let's see, I think we spoke about the weekly. Oh yeah, the weekly, I didn't get to talk about the RSI a little bit, but here's the RSI, right? The RSI as well, it topped on about 79 points here on the weekly, but remember the RSI actually has a lot of room to grow. Okay, since 2016, the RSI typically tops anywhere between 86 points and all the way to about 92. All right, all the way up here. We are currently at about 69 points. So we have a lot of room to go. Okay, so don't be surprised if the RSI or the price over the coming weeks, maybe even the next 6 months or so, just starts taking off into this overbought territory. All right, this is what it might take for the RSI to start hitting that 13,000 target, that 18,000 target, and maybe beyond, that price discovery target that we spoke about. Okay. All right. So with that being said, like I said, be careful approaching resistance. This weekly also be able to understand to take profits as we approach this 11,600, 11,700 resistance area, because all 5 of these weeks right here, they all closed under this 11.5, 11.6, weekly closing right here. So there's clearly a lot of strength here in terms of sellers. They're not letting, candles close above this level. Every time we do have price movement up here, the weekly closes significantly under it. So just an area to be cautious about. Okay. One other thing that I want to talk about is LTC, which was a fantastic trade that we took just yesterday. All right. Again, we took it right around 94 or 95, but we took it based on this symmetrical triangle being created. But remember, we didn't take it just based on the symmetrical triangle, because these triangles, because they're continuation patterns, they actually have a tendency to break down. But what I saw was that BTC is starting to break out. And for the most part, I expect LTC to at least follow the trend, okay, rather than go down. So I took a bet knowing that the odds are in my favor that LTC at the very least will move up towards maybe, 98, 99, which would be approaching this descending trend line, right? Or at the very highest, it would start approaching 106, 107, which was resistance right there, the wick of this resistance right there. And that's actually exactly where we hit. Currently, we're at 102.5, right? So we're, up about 8 or 9%. Okay, so very healthy movement by LTC, and I expect LTC, if BTC is going to keep on moving up, I expect LTC to keep on moving up as well, all right, over the coming weeks. Let's check out Ether and see how ETH is doing. ETH popped very nicely too overnight. It popped from about the low of 222 to now about 235. So another, about 9 to 10% move for Ethereum as well. So all of the alts, especially the big market cap alts, are moving really nicely with BTC, and this is typically what you want to see, when the market overall is moving, right? One thing about Ethereum, however, is that it is approaching this resistance around 235, 240. Okay, this was previous base building right here, 1, 2 touches, and then it became resistance right there and right there, as you can see, right? If we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that wick touch right there, support, wick touch right there, support. This candle bleeds on through. This candle can't make it above this resistance, neither can this candle. So this was all resistance now, and it's probably going to be resistance on the way up. Okay, but if it does break it, then your next ceiling becomes around anywhere between $280 and $300, okay, for Ethereum. All right, let's see. One other thing, I always follow Zero Hedge. This is a great blog investment trading website. You could post up your ideas. I actually have a private username on here, and I post up my ideas as well. I'm not going to tell you who I am, but anyway, Zero Hedge, the website, the blog, talked about China set to ask state buyers to halt U.S. agricultural imports. Basically, what I'm seeing, if you're in the United States or even around the world, is that this war, trade war brewing between the United States and China, is increasingly affecting different markets. All right, especially the commodities markets and the equity markets here in the U.S. and especially China. And honestly, they have some sort of ripple effect on the other markets of the world, especially the US dollar and the Chinese yuan. Now, with that being said, it could be a fair argument to say that at some point, it is impacting Bitcoin's pricing. I don't know if it's directly correlated at all, because, in my opinion, I don't think that anything really affects BTC. I don't think interest rates do. I don't think stock markets going up or down do. I don't think recessions or depressions or anything like that, or other currencies going up and down do specifically. But I do know that there's some sort of correlation, some of it, where we have seen in the past where Bitcoin has sort of triumphed due to the fact that different governments or different currencies are failing. So they've seen a good amount of money flow. Bitcoin has seen a good amount of money flow into its own market cap. So you could make the argument that this movement right here could be a bit inspired by some of what happened or is happening between the China and the U.S. I don't quite know, but I do know that when I trade the technicals, just the technicals, I don't care. I don't have to worry about what's happening in the fundamentals, because ultimately it will start reflecting in price. All right, and this is why I love trading off technicals, because I don't have to worry about what's happening in the external world. Okay, I mean, it's great if you pay attention, you find some helpful correlation, helpful fundamental analysis that strategically helps you, time the market a little bit better based on news, earnings, the currency devaluations, governments, falling, some downfall, anything like that. Anything that helps you, great, use it. But in my experience, the more I like to just focus on the technicals, they help me understand the better worldview of what's happening outside based on the price. Okay, which is why truly trading based off technicals is by far one of the most useful things in terms of trading in any market, right? So anyway, with that being said, come join the technical analysis course or the Advantage program, and come understand and learn BTC. I've stated out some targets for you. I've given you an idea of potential retrace. I've given you the ceiling for Ethereum and potentially LTC. I've told you about the different impacts from different areas of the market and different governments. I showed you a bit about how we caught this LTC move overnight. So if you are interested in analysis like that, where you understand that this is something that you want to learn about technicals, and you want to be able to trade and invest properly in this market by becoming an educated person, an educated member of this market, then come join our community, folks. I promise you, you will not be let down. You will learn so much that not only can you use in the crypto markets, but you can use in trading any market. We have a Forex chat right here. We have a stock market chat channel right here. Tons of discussions happening. We have just, a sole analyst dedicated to the stock market channel, where you can ask any and all questions dedicated to the stock market right there. All right. So with that being said, folks, come join Cryptosomniac technical analysis course or the Advantage program, and come make some gains with the community in trading cryptos. All right. Take care. Cheers, and have a wonderful day.